Hey friends, welcome back to the homestead. This is my sister-in-law Lacey, and she's gonna help me do a project today. She's gonna kind of be the leader of the project, and I'm just gonna follow along. She's really good at woodworking, and we are gonna build an egg holder. For the counter. It's gonna be super cute. I'm gonna go over what you need for this project. This is gonna be a 72-inch egg holder. It's gonna be 4 tiers tall and 18 eggs on each tier. You'll need a 1x8 that is 8 feet long, some wood glue, a measuring tape, a pencil, a pocket jig, stain of your choosing, package of 1 1/4 pocket hole screws, some dowels. These are 17/16 and 2.5 inches. Some safety glasses. You'll need a drill with a 4-star bit that is 1 5/8, and a miter saw, and that's all you'll need. Step number 1 is to take your 1x8s and cut them 14 1/4 inches. Step number 2 is we're gonna cut the side pieces, and so we need to cut 8 4.5-inch pieces. That'll give us enough room between the tiers to reach our hand in and grab an egg easily. We did a couple tests, and that should work just perfect. Hopefully. You guys are gonna find out because we're making this up as we go along. And this is all the scrap we have from that one piece of wood, so that's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so we know how far apart we want them this way, but we haven't figured out this way. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 1 5/8. Okay. 1 2 3 4 5 6.
We basically created a jig for that.
Yeah. Oh, Jacob would be so proud.
Josh would too. I'm gonna have Lacey explain this part because she's gonna do a better job than I do. So go ahead, Lacey.
Okay, so we left an inch on each side of our board just so that we can screw in the sides and we don't have to worry about it as much. And then we found our center line, which was at 3 5/8 of an inch. From there, I had already we had talked about how this should look, and we used a piece of scrap wood. So from the center inch, we knew that our Forstner bit is 1 5/8 of an inch. So I went ahead and measured 1 5/8 of an inch and put a little mark, and then we decided we wanted a 1/2 inch between each egg. So we put 1 5/8 of an inch, and then 1/2 inch, and then 1 5/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch, until we got all the way to the end. That will give us 6 eggs across.
Right. And then explain what you did with this part.
Oh, so here, since we knew that this was going to be the center of the egg hole, we found the middle of 1 5/8 of an inch, which was 0.8125, which I think is 13/16 of an inch. So we measured 13/16 of an inch from the middle to out here, and then from the middle to the other side, so that we had kind of 4 points. And then we took our test piece of wood and we lined it up at those 4 points, and we took a pencil and then we drew our circle. So then Becky had the genius idea of just drawing the center line on there, and so we were able to take that and we just went down the line and drew the circles.
And there's a line over here too.
Yes, on both sides.
So now we're gonna go on to the next step.
We're gonna find out where the holes go that are gonna be the other 2 rows. We used a 1/2 inch between each hole going this way, so I think we're gonna go with the same thing. So we're gonna mark where a 1/2 inch from this will be, which will probably be roughly here, and then we'll go with the same thing. So we'll measure 1 5/8 of an inch to get where the next one should be. And we'll do the same thing on that side, and then we'll be able to use Becky's genius jig to go down the line.
Perfect. To make our life easier, we're gonna use this square and just run it all the way down. And that's gonna create a nice little block for us. We're gonna find the center, which is 13/16. What that's done by finding this middle line is now we can use the jig and line it up right here, which is the center of this one, and we can draw our circle.
So we just made our lives a little bit easier since we had done all the math for this row. We just measured between our center line and then the center line of this row of eggs, and then we just flipped it. So now we have the center of this line of eggs, and we're just using our little jig here, and Becky is drawing our new circles since we already had these side lines. And voila! We're gonna take this and we're gonna drill through each hole, and then we'll be able to clamp this board to the top of one of the other boards, and we won't have to do any of this measuring again.
We'll use this as our jig.
Yes.
We've had to take the coats off because it's getting toasty finally. And we have some 60 grit sandpaper, and we're using a hand sander or a power sander. Yeah. You could hand sand, but I happen to find this, so it's a lot easier. Yes. So I brought snacks out. I didn't realize it was already 2:20, and cocktails. Woohoo! Strawberry margaritas from Costco, and a nice charcuterie board.
Beautiful. So we took one of the side pieces, and all of them are 4.5 inches, or rather than figuring out where the middle was, we took away 3/4 of an inch, because that's how thick each of these boards are. 4.5 minus 3/4 of an inch was 3 3/4 of an inch, I believe. And so then we took that and we divided it by 2 to figure out the half of 3 3/4. So now we measured 1 7/8 from each side, and then when we attach the egg rack, it will go just right there.
The next step is making some pocket holes. I don't know anything about this, so I'm gonna have Lacey explain it to you.
So this is a Craig pocket hole jig, and I have it clamped already. I can take it off, but basically this is gonna allow us to drill a hole sideways through this board so that it can attach to the other board, and then it will just be hidden on the bottom. And then I'm going to use the drill, and I'll stick it into this hole, and take it out. And then when we pop this off, we have a little secret hole.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, what size drill bit is this?
I don't know. It's the one, it comes with the pocket hole jig.
Oh, perfect.
So it's the same one.
So Lacey, is the reason you're not measuring where you're putting these pockets is because it doesn't really matter when you place the side pieces?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because what we'll do is we'll just kind of line that up with the line, and then we'll clamp it together and we'll screw through, and that's just what's gonna attach the side to the egg holder.
I'm gonna link this jig in the description because it's super cool. We are gonna repeat that process on each side for every single board. So we have 2, 4, 6, so we have 12 more to do.
We're getting ready to measure where we're gonna drill the hole for the dowels to go in so that the egg holders don't fall off of each other when they're stacked. Our boards are 7 1/8 of an inch. Mark the center, which is at 3 9/16. We're gonna leave these 2 that we already marked, but we flipped all of these over because each one of them is gonna need a dowel on the top and then a hole on the bottom, so that then the dowel, it can stack on top of itself.
And we only have to do that on the 6 because why?
Because this one is gonna be the top one, a hole drilled on the bottom, because it will never have a dowel coming out of it.
The reason we're doing it this way is so that we can take them apart. We don't want it to be permanently stacked because I'm not always gonna have this many eggs sitting on my counter. So the top tier is gonna be able to sit flush on the counter because there's gonna be only holes in the bottom and not a dowel on the top. Lacey is doing now is we are getting ready to pre-drill the holes, the pilot hole for the dowel. And what we're doing is measuring halfway between here and here, which is 3/8, and we're taking just a plain old screw, putting it in that junction, and we're gonna hammer it so that we've got a starter point to make sure that our bit goes in straight. Now, each one of these junctions is actually gonna be going through a knot. So Lacey's gonna start with a small drill, and we're gonna work our way up. We're probably gonna do 3 different size drill bits so that we don't split the wood.
So we messed it up a little bit, and we drilled holes in the egg holder that's gonna be our very top one. So we're gonna put wood filler in here, and then once we stain it, it'll be just fine. But we've had to mark all of our boards because we're gonna use a different sized drill bit on the top of the egg holder versus the bottom of the egg holder. because we want our dowels to sit really tight inside the top. Then when we set the bottom to stack it, we want it to be able to come on and off really easily. So it's taken a minute, but we're there, and we have them all marked, and we're ready to continue on up in our drill size.
So explain the ones that are gonna have the dowel permanently stuck in, what size are we doing?
We're gonna do 7/16 of an inch.
And where the dowel is gonna sit in so we can take the top off.
Those are gonna be a 1/2 inch.
Because we want them a little loosey-goosey so that it's easy to come.
So that it's easier to pick one off and put it somewhere else.
Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and move up to the 7/16 of an inch drill bit.
It's easy to tell why you need to really center those holes, because you're getting really close to the edge. And now we're gonna flip them all over, and all of these need 1/2 inch holes, because this is gonna be the side where we want it to be kind of loose so that we can stack them and take them off easily. Oh no.
Don't tell my husband we're using his, what is that called? Chisel?
Yeah, it's chisel.
Josh does watch all my videos, but he doesn't always listen to all my videos. So we'll see if he pays attention to that.
Nervous about.
Looks good though.
Okay.
Now what we're gonna do on all the sides that are 7/16 of an inch, we are gonna put a little bit of wood glue and put them in.
We're also gonna remove the excess glue on the outside.
We have our side piece and our line, and this board with the pocket holes is gonna go right underneath it because that is the center. Perfect. And that is our first tray. So you technically could be done if you only needed 18, but we need 72. That's cute.
It's really cute.
All right, so
Is it like?
yeah, okay. Close enough.
So we accidentally drilled holes in the one that's meant to be the top. So right now we're just gonna mix together some sawdust and some wood glue to create our own wood filler. I just should.
We'll probably want to put more and then sand it down.
Yeah.
We are done with all the tiers, so we have some gloves on and we are ready to stain it. We are gonna stain it with dark walnut, and we went ahead and put a black plastic bag just cut in half so that we don't stain my husband's table, and we're gonna stain each tier. And here we have it. We have a 4-tier 18 egg holder on each one, so it's a total of 72 eggs, and I think it turned out perfect. I was a little worried about the height because it's pretty tall, but it's actually really nice because you can get in there and grab the eggs super easily. Obviously on the top you can grab them easily, but we wanted to make sure there was enough room between each one that I wasn't having to kind of like go in and turn the egg to get it out. So it's absolutely perfect. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you so much, Lacey, for helping me build this, because there's no way I would have been able to do this by myself. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of what I've got going on around here, go ahead and subscribe. And I do have a couple videos gonna pop up right here if you want to see a couple of my other videos. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.